Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tales of the Valiant CR Exposed. On today's episode we are looking at the Horned Devil, so if you'd like to follow along and, check the values that I'm using, go ahead and grab your Monster Vault 1 book and turn to page 99 in the book or 101 in the PDF. But before we get into exposing the CR for this Horned Devil, let's talk about the business. And the business is this tool here. If you like what I'm doing here and you'd like to get this tool for yourself, you can go ahead and click the links in the description below to go to my Ko-fi page where you can grab this tool completely for free or donate if you feel so inclined to. On top of that, there are other items for sale and up for grabs. I have a whole bunch of new classes, actual classes, for Tales of the Valiant and 5th edition with some slight modifications, as well as subclasses too. All of these are completely for free for the demo versions. And then if you like the demo versions of the classes, which currently I have 3 of, the Performer, Gunslinger, and Chemist, you can also purchase the whole class, levels 1 to 20, for a little bit of money there. I may or may not be reducing the prices depending on if those seem like reasonable amounts or not. And, give me some feedback. If you like the demo classes and you think they're good, or if they need some adjustments, let me know. Let me know what you think. At some point, I'm actually going to be doing some videos, if I haven't already done them, to promote these classes that I've built out, because they're pretty fun. And I'm working on a Priest class as well, which is kind of like a weird combination between Cleric, Warlock, and Sorcerer. It's just this weird, like, half-caster thing that I'm having fun with. Plus, like I said, a whole bunch of subclasses as well, so I'll be doing some videos of those at some point in the future. Alright, so, Ko-fi page. Go there, whole bunch of stuff going on, as well as some custom monsters, and, donate if you'd like to, support the channel. You can grab a membership here where you can also get videos earlier than everyone else, as well as supporting me through the membership channel at Ko-fi as well. If you'd like to do that there, which I will also be doing similar stuff on the membership here over at Ko-fi. Alright. Thank you all so much for listening to that. Let's get into exposing the Horned Devil here. So, the Horned Devil, it's a CR 11 monster, so we'll go ahead and throw in CR 11 here. And then we have ourselves a large fiend. The size doesn't really matter here, but we do have some other stuff, so we're going to go ahead and start putting in the modifiers. So we have a strength of 10, a dex of 7, constitution of 5, intelligence of 1, and then a 7 for wisdom and charisma. Now, some of these are probably adjusted by the proficiency bonus, which, going over, we should have a 4 for that, 15 to 17 AC, 235 unadjusted hit points, 7 to 9 attack bonus, 74 to 79 damage per round, and 15 to 17 save difficulty check for, whatever abilities this thing may have. Now, going forward, we do see that we have an AC of 17, but in our stat block, it is an 18, so we're going to go ahead and just add in 1 there for its natural armor, which technically doesn't take into account the dexterity already of how strong or how dexterous it is. In any event, we are looking at potentially trying to get 185 adjusted hit points. Now, at the moment, we're seeing 658 adjusted. That's because the automation that's currently going on. So we're going to wait till the end to make sure that this is working out correctly. Now next we have a speed of 20 feet and a fly speed of 60 feet. Now if we only had the walking movement of 20 feet, that would give us a bonus. But because we have the 60 feet of flying movement, and this is the actual, true speed of our Horned Devil, more than likely it's going to be flying, we would be worrying about that. We can just throw these in for the fun of it. This is a fiend. There we go. These green boxes only matter if you're using the print section to create a stat block over at Home Brewery. Alright, so going forward, we have those set up. We do have perception and stealth. That doesn't matter for the video here. We do have resistances and immunities from the Devilish Resilience. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that in just a moment after we finish up the rest of the stat block here. Senses and languages, we don't have to worry about that as well. So moving on, we have in the features area, we have Devil Sight. Magical darkness doesn't impede the Devil's dark vision, which doesn't matter for our purposes here. We do have, as described just moments ago, Devilish Resilience. The Devil is resistant to cold damage, so we will go ahead and throw in cold resistancy here. And then it also has bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical. So bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. And then we next move into, let's see, in addition, it is immune to fire damage. Okay. And also poison damage to the poison condition. So we'll go ahead and throw in poison here and the poison condition. Now let's talk about the what's going on here in immunities and resistances. So at the moment, we should be seeing, maybe I missed this up here a little bit. For every 2 types. Oh, no, okay. So what's going on here is, even though we have 4 at the moment, technically this is only 2. And that's because for every 2 types of damage, and we have this little asterisk here. If we go to the damage section, it says, this table is used to, bludgeoning. In the hit point adjustment tables, when damage asterisk is marked this way, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing count as 1 damage source. So technically, even though we have all 3 of these listed here, this is only 1. And because we have technically 2 for cold or bludgeoning, piercing, slashes, and we have 2 here, and we also have 2 here in the immunities of fire and poison, this is technically only 1. And that's because it says or. We have for every 2 types of damage, asterisk, to which the creature is resistant or immune. So we either take whatever has the most in the resistant column or has the most in the immune column. But because they're equal, we're only taking 1. It doesn't really matter which one you take. It's calculating here. We're getting a -8 for one of these 2 columns here. Now moving on, we have magic resistance. So we'll go ahead and click that on. We have magic resistance here. Similar trait that gives the creature most of its saves. This should be a dash and not a 0 because we don't care about that. Yeah, that doesn't really matter. Okay. From there, we have the magic resistance in place. We then next look at the actions. And our actions, we have a multi-attack, a fork attack, a tail attack, and the hurl flame attack, plus a bonus action, which we will look at in a moment. So, for our multi-attack, we are looking at 2 fork attacks and 1 tail attack, or it makes 3 hurl flame attacks. So let's take a look here. We're going to go back up to the top and make some adjustments here. Now, we are looking at, if you're looking at your book here to follow along, our attack for the fork is a +10 to hit and has 3d8 +6 piercing damage. So what is going to give us the +6 for the damage? Well, more than likely we're going to have to go ahead and adjust our strength here. So for this monster, we're looking at a proficiency bonus of 4, which means this is actually not a 10, but a 6 here. And then we are proficient to give us the +10 in the stats section. So this will bring everything down to where it's supposed to be. Our strength is now at a +10 for its attack bonus, which is what we see on the fork attack, the tail attack as well, and then the hurl flame will be probably, yeah, it looks like it's going to be coming from the wisdom. So let's see here. What am I doing? I lost my train of thought. Fork attack. There we go. Fork attack, 3d8. So we'll go ahead and switch that to the d8. We're going to give this a strength, and we're going to see 19.5. Now in the book, we're going to see 19. We drop the half die just for printing's sake, but we actually have to take into account the half die here. And I've gone over this multiple times. I'm not going to worry about saying it again. But we have 2 fork attacks and 1 tail attack. So the tail attack is going to be, let's see here, 3d10. So we'll add that in here. We're also going to modify that with strength, giving us 22.5. If the target is a creature other than a construct or undead, it must succeed on a con save or lose hit points at the start of each of its turns due to an infernal wound. So that is from like the bleed effect or what have you. Each time the devil has its tail, or each time the devil hits the wounded target with this attack, the damage dealt by the wound increases by 3d6. Any creature can take an action to staunch the wound with a successful wisdom save medicine check. This also closes if the target receives magical healing. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at the tail attack here. Now this one's a little tricky because of the constant hitting and this bleeding effect. We might have to look into this a little differently. So let's see here. We're going to go ahead and throw these 2 attacks into our attack section. We have that one there, and we have this one here. Now, our tail attack does have a rider for one condition, which is this bleed effect. Now, let's take a look here. Use single if the in the drop down if the monster causes a single condition effect that lasts more than 1 round, which in this case it does. Technically, we have this bleed or gash or slash attack. We're going to go ahead and put in a single use here. So this technically updates the monster to 23 points of damage. I don't know if this technically takes into account the amount of damage it's actually doing, or if this is just what we have to go through and add this little extra bit of damage in every round. And because it compounds, it's really hard to keep track of where the damage is going here. We'll take a best bet here, because to similar videos like the mage where I went all or nothing and didn't kind of find the middle ground, we might have to find the middle ground for the devil as well in this case. So we got our tail and our flame attack here, or excuse me, the fork and the tail attack. We get 2 fork attacks, which is going to be 19.5 times 2. We do have plus the additional 23 from the tail attack, and then we also have the hurl flame attack. So right off the bat, I'm seeing 62 points of damage for one round of combat. More than likely, we are taking into account probably an additional, I'd say 1 set of damage. So 1 more round of saves and whatnot, or just wounding 1 target. So we'll go ahead and throw in an extra 22.5 into this mix here, just to see how that all kind of works itself out. And we're now looking at 85, so that might be a little too high. Really kind of hard to say how and if this applies. Maybe it's, I don't know. I'm not really sure how to go about that one. Anyways, let's take a look at the hurl flame here. So the hurl flame is going to be 5d6 plus 3, and that means we are, something in here is a little lower. It doesn't really matter which one we're doing. We'll just say, all right, we'll make this one 3, and we have the proficiency in that. Maybe the wisdom is the same way. It's a devil. Maybe they're using charisma. It doesn't necessarily matter, just as long as things kind of work out to where we're looking for. So 5d6 here. We're going to throw in charisma for the modifier, giving us the 20 that we're looking for. But the difference here is that the attack bonus for the ranged spell attack is a 7. So our attack bonus, now that we're talking about this, for our fork and the tail, our attack bonus is actually 1 higher than is expected. But because our hurl flame attack is a 7, if we take the average, we're probably going to get right where we need it to be. So, if we come over here to the side and just do a little workshop, we'll say 10 plus 7 is that, and then we'll take this here and divide it by 2. 8.5. So technically, if you're bouncing back and forth between hurling flames and using the multi-attack, you're probably, or using your melee attacks between ranged and melee attacks, you're probably going to be okay with the attack bonus here, since we have an 8.5. So go ahead and delete that. And then from there, we're going to say 20.5 for our hurl flame times 3 for 61 points of damage. Alright, well, before we go any further here, let's take a look at that bonus action as well. I'm going to reduce this, take that out, and see what happens with this headbutt. So as a bonus action, the Horned Devil slams its horned head into a creature. Within 5 feet, the target makes a strength save, and on a failure, they take 7 or 2d6 bludgeoning damage and is knocked prone. On a success, the target takes half damage and isn't knocked prone. Alright, well, we will go ahead and throw this in here. So we have 2d6. For 7, we're going to pop that into here. Now, because the damage is so low that even if we add in the prone condition, it's not going to modify things whatsoever. But we are adding that in, so this may bring us a little closer. It's not a whole lot. In any event, I'm going to go ahead and just throw this in here. So we're going to take this as our full round action, the multi-attack, plus we're going to use the headbutt action. And we're looking at 69 at the moment. So maybe this is correct. We'll see in a moment, because we are looking for 185 adjusted hit points. So let's review what we have going on here. We don't have really any other points of interest to be concerned about, besides the hurl flame, which just ignites things, and any flammable objects are set on fire, so that doesn't really matter. We do have a couple things going on here though. For every 1 AC the creature is above the expected, which we are 1 above, we are losing -5 here. For every 2 damage types for our resistances and immunities, we're getting another -8, and then we have magic resistance as well. We are seeing a total here, also looking at the damage being 2 points lower, at a total of -8. So what do we have total here? At the moment we have 216 and we're expecting 185, which means our damage is definitely much lower than expected. So we are definitely expecting to add in the extra round of bleed damage from the tail. So we'll go ahead and throw in 1 more bleed damage there, and maybe this will bring us closer. Well, it looks like we've gone way too high because our damage is exceptionally high now. We're looking at 92 over the total of 79, which is giving us 6 times the amount. Really reducing us to 48 here, and then we are also, dropped down to 122. We're expecting 185. That one's tricky. Maybe it's because we only see, maybe we don't get the bleed damage every round of combat. So instead, let's see here. Let's do this a little bit differently. We're going to go ahead and say every round of combat, we're just going to do our bleed, or our multi-attack here, no problem. Come on now. Right? And then we'll say 1 round, maybe we're lucky and we get the extra bleed damage here. So this is going to modify us ever so slightly. Now we're looking at 69 out of 74 to 79, and we're still not quite at the 185 we're expecting. So maybe we get 2 rounds of combat. We'll try this now this way and add it in here. Well, we're looking at, I see what I did wrong there. Hold on. Plus the extra 23 here. Now we're looking at 77, which puts us right in range. And we're now at 192 versus 185 off of the book. This is pretty close. I may be missing something, or maybe they've been missing something. I'm not entirely sure. We can go either way with this, but we're pretty close to the expected or the printed value of 185. So somewhere in here, something's a little off. But maybe if we do this and we check that off here, let's see what we have now. 180 for having just, the melee attacks. We're within range, an acceptable range of like 2 or plus or minus maybe like 3% off of the actual value here. So I'd say the Horned Devil here for Tales of the Valiant is like 97% accurate. There's something I'm missing, I'm sure, that I didn't take into account for, that isn't necessarily catching this Horned Devil correctly. But in any event, if you like what I've done here, like I said, check the description there for all your links to grab whatever you'd like. And I will see you all in the next video.